Hey there, folks, and welcome to another season of Pinal SportsCast, where we take a deeper dive into Pinal County sports. This episode is brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning experts specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pinal SportsCast. Joining us for this week's episode is former Casa Grande Union softball pitcher Brianna Sanchez. Bree, thanks for taking the time and chatting with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So, Bree, like we start off all of our episodes, how was it that you first got involved with sports? Has it always been softball for you, or was it something else when you were little?
I actually started off playing football for 4 years, from when I was 6 until I was 10. I played for Mark Luna, and then my mom told me it wasn't cute to tackle boys anymore, that I needed to find a different sport. So I started playing softball for Andy Montana. He was my first club coach in Casa Grande.
So what was the deal with your mom not wanting you to play football anymore? I mean, come on, that's a pretty fun sport, right? What was that conversation like?
Well, I was O-line, so the boys were going to be way bigger than me. And they were scared I was going to get hurt because they started getting bigger. I stayed the same.
All right, I get it. That makes sense. But you know what?
Yeah.
You get a chance to play in softball. So tell us about your first memories getting introduced to softball, and what was it like, when you got your first chance to play on the field, have teammates like that. What were those first interactions with the sport like for you?
I was really excited being in an environment with more girls instead of boys. So learning how to be teammates and coming together and creating bonds was really exciting for me. And then also doing something completely different, because I did little league and stuff, but I was always focused on football. So just learning more about the game was really exciting for me because I love to learn new stuff.
Yeah, and then that opportunity obviously led to you being a part of Casa Grande Union, and I'm sure growing up in Casa Grande, that was always kind of a goal for you. Was that the case for you? Were you always wanting to get onto the field at CG Union?
Of course, especially with Coach Andy Montana being my first coach, having the older girls on the 16U who played for him in high school was always kind of a feeder to go there no matter what. And growing up, practicing at the field, playing at Union, my family is a whole CG Union alumni, so I had no choice either way. But I was excited that I got to know the program before growing up in it too.
Yeah, and you just said you didn't really have a choice, but if you did have a choice, would you even
Yeah,
play anywhere else, or was it always the goal?
always the goal. Always the goal. I bleed blue and gold for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I gotta ask, Bree, Vista wasn't a temptation at all? Because at that time, the two programs were pretty much par and par. Like, you could have gone to
Yeah.
either one and been successful.
Mhm. Yeah, I think Union was always the goal, not only because it was close, but I loved having like the legacy. Um, Jess Mercado was one of my really good friends, and when she left, I was coming in, so she kind of passed that torch to me because me and her were really, really close. So I was excited to come in and help the program after she left.
You mentioned Jess also being a pitcher like yourself. Going back to when you first started, what was
Yeah.
that like? Your first time being in the circle. Like you mentioned, you went from football to softball, and it's very different being an offensive lineman in football to being, the one the light shines on in softball.
Oh, definitely. Um, I kind of just got thrown out there, to be honest, with pitching. I was a first baseman. That's where they had me at first. And I just remember this one club game, our pitchers were throwing, I don't know how many walks and balls, and they were like, Bree, can you try? Because they knew I'd started seeing a pitching coach just because I was interested in that aspect of the sport to try it out. Everybody wants to be a pitcher at some point playing softball, pitcher or catcher. So they threw me out there, and I finished out the game, threw a good game, and then after that, just focused on my craft at pitching.
And tell me more about that craft and focusing on it, because a lot of the times when you're a pitcher, whether it be baseball or softball, that's kind of has to take priority, no matter what. What was that experience like for you once you kind of got the hang of it and realized like this is kind of going to be where my spot is, and how did you settle in like that?
Um, Honestly, I really thrive under pressure. So a I was always taught that pitchers touch, you're involved in every single play, no matter what, because you start with the ball. And I really liked that pressure part of it. Um, I think my dad making me pick up every single weekend I was off really helped too. Because I was just constantly throwing, constantly seeing different teams and all that stuff. So I kind of became a PO at really early at 15 because I started playing up. Um, for, when I was 14, I started playing on an 18U team, and that being with that old of girls, you are a PO, and I just liked being involved in every single play. Starts with me, and I like that.
Yeah, and you got an early start too because you were pitching as a freshman, right?
Yes, I started my freshman year starting. I was excited
But
for that.
yeah, you mentioned you were excited, but were you intimidated at all as a freshman getting inside the circle? Like, can you tell me what it was like when you for like the coaches call you up and be like, "Hey, you're going to be starting," and you're only a freshman? You're like, "Well, was it nervous? Was it nerve wracking? Were you just ready to go?"
I was just ready to go, honestly. I think playing up at such a young age really helped me because I wasn't intimidated pitching to an 18-year-old at 14 because I got so used to it. Um, Mentally, I am a mentally tough player, and a lot of the teams that I was on, it was me and one other girl. So if I couldn't do it, nobody else could, kind of mentality.
And you just talked about how you're a mentally tough player, and for whether it be softball or baseball, like the mental side of the game, it takes a lot of precedent there. Can you speak more like what was your mentality going in there, and how did you kind of keep that focus and keep that mental toughness going?
Honestly, for me, when I'm in the circle, I think that if I take a pitch off, something bad is gonna happen. The moment you have that mental lax is the moment things start going south. So I think football also really helped me with that because you have to stay mentally tough. And I was the only girl on the football team, so I think that also helped me a lot. So just growing up with the pressure, with the having to be number one, I was super excited. And when I joined Union, we weren't the best. We were coming off of just leaving, all the starters leaving. So I was excited to rebuild. And I think that had to start with the freshman class that I was in. And we all had to be strong players to build up that program.
You mentioned, kind of having that rebuild your first year. Your whole high school career was kind of a roller coaster with all the different coaches you had. You came in, you started with Felipe Becerra, a really good coach. He had been there, like you mentioned, when Jessica Mercado was there, kind of like during their golden years at that point, and then things kind of took a dip and everything. And it wasn't until towards the end of your career that Coach Des Gill came in and just kind of rebuilt that stability for the program. Just throughout those 4 years at Union, how did you find the motivation to just keep coming back and keep giving your all despite how the team was struggling?
I think genuinely just for my love of the game and having that pride of wearing Casa Grande Union on my shirt, I really did want to continue to build the program, especially because I have a younger sister who is there now that she could have something to come into that was rebuilt and had a good foundation for when I left.
And with those hard times, you mentioned how proud you were to be a Casa Grande Cougar, but at the same time, was there ever a conversation of like maybe entering the transfer portal? Because I mean, we see it all now with high school and college itself. Like the transfer portal is a huge deal now. Was that ever a conversation for you, or was it I committed to this team, I'm going to stick to this team no matter what?
Definitely, I like to start what I finish kind of thing. Um, it was never a question for me, especially because like I love Des, and when she came to the program, I was super excited to have not only a coach that I know has a lot of experience in the game herself. Um, I just really like to start what I finish, and I was confident that we were going to rebuild the program with the girls that we had.
Yeah, and you mentioned, that's the start of the rebuild was happening, and it was right at that moment when you were your senior year. You guys, it got to pay off. You guys got a chance to play in a state game, and I'm really curious to know what those feelings were like playing in that game and having that chance. Like, take me through that moment when you guys found out you're going to state, and then during that first game, what was that like for you?
Honestly, it was so overwhelming because I felt like the all 4 years had paid off. All of us seniors were super excited to be playing in that moment and to be sharing it with each other, especially because of how much that we had gone through in those 4 years. Going through three different coaches in a span of 4 years was definitely not easy. Um, but honestly, our freshman Mac, she came in and pitched that she had to come in really for me because I think I was just so nervous, so excited for it. She came in, pitched really well. We lost by one. We were battling defensively back and forth with the number two seed of all of 5A. And I was so ready for that upset, but we fell short. But we were super excited to be and grateful to be playing in that moment, especially for how much we came within those 4 years.
And with that, you mentioned that was Chaparral was the number two seed at the time, and you guys were able to only lose by one run. Just what that I think that goes to show that was kind of the start of it and start of the program. So kind of, I'm sure there was a lot of emotions at the time when the loss happened, but at the same time, did you feel like a sense of pride of you guys were able to do what you guys were able to accomplish at that time?
100%. I do. I think it was, we were all thinking, I'm so excited to see what happens next year. We got this far. Can't wait to see how they progress. And we all genuinely played for each other that game, which I was super excited about. Someone made an error, the next person tried to get two outs instead of one. We all passed the bat, not hitting selfishly. We're all thinking of each other in that moment, and I was super excited to be playing with those girls, and they've had so much success continuing after I've gone, and I continue to support them. I go see their games. I'm super excited. Like I said, my little sister is on the team too now, so just seeing how much Coach Gill has developed these players is incredible, and I'm super excited to see that continue.
You've been mentioning your little sister here. We got to give Marissa a shout out. With softball being such a family thing for you guys, just what's it like, that relationship with you and her? Her also being a pitcher, also going to Union. She's followed in your footsteps in just about every aspect, and also being able to follow up with those playoff appearances.
Yes, I'm super happy that she wanted to play in the same positions as me. It makes it so much easier on my parents. And I think that what I did in my career shouldn't dictate how she does. I want her to be better than me. I want her to progress, which she learns from my experiences. So right now I'm helping her little club team, and I want them to continue to develop. So I think that me teaching right now is super important. This whole Castro Grande community is definitely a family, and I love that we all get to learn from each other and progress all as together.
I'm curious to know from what you're saying, there was never a sibling rivalry or anything like that. Did you guys bounce off each other with that, or was it more just, hey, I'm here for a support system and we're gonna do this together?
Definitely a support system, but I told her that I started, you better be better than me because I'm teaching you everything I know at such an earlier age. So that was just the biggest thing. I was like, you better be better than me, little girl, because I'm teaching you everything I know. I had to do it on my own, but I get to teach you. So, um, yeah. So she plays first base too, which is something I'm excited that she gets to do because I was just confined to PO. So I'm excited that she has more to grow from as well.
And I'm curious to know if coaching your little sister has gotten you into like the coaching bug. Has that been a conversation for you? Is that something you would potentially want to do, like be a coach, officially be a coach for a team?
100%. Right now, I just finished my 2 years at PV and I'm going to play at Nelson University for my last 2 years. So this summer I'm actually helping coach her club team, which is half Casa Grande girls, half Phoenix girls. So that is something that I am starting to get into. Um, Last season I started giving lessons, pitching lessons on the side. I just love to help continue developing the game, having girls continue to play, especially with a lot more opportunities out there. I love to develop the new generation. I'm super excited about that.
You mentioned your college career. Just what was that move like for you going from CJ Union up to Paradise Valley?
Honestly, I loved it. Seeing playing softball every single day, like as someone who loves the game, that's the dream. That is the dream. We went to all my teammates. We went to school together, ate together, practiced together. I saw those girls every single day, and I loved it. And our season was not as successful, but I feel like I genuinely grew as a player. Being in that different type of competition was really good, and I got to play for Nick Kendrea, Mike Kendrea's brother, and he taught me a lot about the game that I didn't know that I was missing. So I'm excited to continue to teach that new aspect that I got to learn at this age in the game as well.
Can you elaborate a little more on what the older Candrea taught you?
Um, he he's a character. He's definitely old school. I love how he told you straight up, Bree, today was not your best today, but he taught me mental toughness. I didn't think I needed any more mental toughness training, but he definitely taught me that. He also taught me to trust in my teammates because I was so nervous about messing up that he taught me that's genuinely part of the game. And the different speed, the different competition, it's gonna happen. Failure is gonna happen. I think he genuinely just taught me a lot of life lessons, and being in that program, I was truly grateful. Truly grateful.
So we just talked about your time at Paradise Valley, but I'm curious to know what your recruiting process was like. We've heard from other athletes being like, "Oh, I knew where I wanted to go, and that was my goal, and I settled out on it." But then some are, they like to poke around and see what options are available to them. What was your recruiting process like for you?
Um, Playing club, we went to a lot of like showcases and out of state and stuff like that. I did have a lot of more East Coast offers, just doing camps, showcases, emailing. Um, and I liked to go and see the campuses and do all that stuff, but ultimately I landed on Paradise Valley because it was far enough away to where I can drive back home, but still be a different environment, completely different environment from Casa Grande to Phoenix. Um, And my parents got to see me play every single game, which was something that I really wanted. Because, like I said, I did have a lot more East Coast offers than West Coast. Um, and if I got the opportunity to play in state, that's what I was going to do. So that's something that came later because I did want to go out of state initially. But it just, my parents being that far away, not getting to see me play, and with how much the school costs and everything, that was just something that made me want to go to Paradise Valley.
And with that, is there something that we talked about your time at Paradise Valley, and we talked about your experience in learning what you did in college. Would you say is the biggest difference between the college game and the high school game for you?
I think endurance because you play two 7 inning games a day, and just learning how to take care of your body, learning rehabilitation, like yourself instead of people telling you to because you're on your own. Um, I think that is one big aspect of the game that I really had to learn. We didn't have that many arms at PV, so I was throwing a full 7 inning game, and then I possibly had to throw 3 to 4 innings the next game, which was we only had a 30-minute break. So I think that aspect of the game was something that I had to learn. And the speed, the speed you is crazy. That 0.5 seconds really does make a difference. All these girls are good. All these girls came to college for a reason. So learning how to take wins and take losses was something as well.
And Bree, like you mentioned, your journey's not over yet. You're still going to be able to stay in state and continue
Yeah.
playing softball. Just what are you most looking forward to in this next part?
I'm super excited to keep going. I'm definitely not done yet. I would love to have some winning records at Nelson because it's new. So I'm gonna start it off strong by next year. Um, I'm just excited to get back on the field and continue my journey. My coach at PV, Nick Candrea, he's following me to Nelson. He retired, but now he's gonna assistant coach over there. So I'm excited to have him as well. I'm excited for this new school, new journey, and continue to meet new people. I'm excited to meet the new girls and step into a leader role over there as well.
All right, Bree, and like we mentioned at the start of this, we're going to jump into our rapid fire section. David, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely, let's do it. So I want to start with, if it wasn't softball, what sport would you want to be playing? Was it still football, or would it be something else?
I mean, if my mom said I could tackle boys still, it probably would be football. But honestly, I really like badminton. I just got into
Okay,
that.
that's an
I'm really
interesting
good
one.
at it. Mhm.
There you go. Hey, we'll take that. And then outside of sports in general, what do you like doing that's not involved with softball? What's your favorite hobby outside of sports?
Oh, Maria, you already know this one. So I actually have a small business. Because the flexibility with being a student athlete, you don't have time for a full-time job, at least in my experience. So I do baking. I make cake pops, cakes, chocolate covered treats like strawberries, pretzels, Rice Krispie treats. So that is something that I love to do, and I'm actually getting my business degree so that way I can do that full time.
Heck yeah, stay on the hustle. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
And then, so,
thank
so
you.
for, yeah, absolutely. So, and then my next question would be kind of, I want to know, what is your pregame routine like? Are we listening to music? Are we kind of just staying focused like staying in the moment? What are you doing before a game?
Honestly, I'm blasting rock music. Me and my dad were always the ones driving together to my games, and that's what I grew up listening to. And um, I love just listening to that intense rock music, so that way when I'm on the field, I don't even hear what they're saying. My eardrums are already blown.
Coach that has kind of taken that takes over for you. If there's one thing that jumps out at you, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten from a coach?
Honestly, I know it sounds cheesy, but play like you're never going to play tomorrow. I got injured my freshman year and I was possibly going to have a surgery to where it was career ending. So, I think balling out every single play, every single opportunity, showing out, because you never know what is going to happen, is something that really stuck with me throughout my career.
Definitely. And then I will end on an easy one for you. I want to know, if you couldn't live in Arizona, where would you want to live?
Um, Texas. I love Texas. The You get all 4 seasons. It's super cheap there. That's where I kind of want to move when I'm older. Not right now. Maybe like retirement, buy a big old house, property. But I love Texas. Texas is nice.
I have no complaints about Texas, but we will not talk about sports at this time. I'm still getting over what happened a couple weeks ago, last week. It'll be a couple weeks ago by the time this episode comes out. But anyways, for my 5 questions. So, Bree, if you could never eat one of these 2, which would it be? Never eat pizza or never eat tacos again?
Oh, I'm Mexican Italian. So I'm gonna have to choose. I would say never eat pizza again.
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
tacos.
And if you could time travel, would you go to the past or the future?
Past, 100%.
Okay. All right. And what's your all-time favorite movie?
The B movie. I love the B movie. It's so dumb and so funny. I could watch that every day.
All right. Let's see. What's your go-to song in the car that it automatically comes on and you just got to sing it?
Ooh, I would say My Baby by Usher. I love that song.
Okay. All right. And if you were an animal, what would you be?
Ooh, I think I would be a turtle because I like to chill in the water.
All right. And there you have it. Again, we got to thank our guests for this episode, Brianna Sanchez. Bree, thanks for taking the time and chatting with us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hey y'all, thanks for listening to this episode of Pinal SportsCast. Be sure to tune in all summer long as we bring you more fun and exciting guests in the Pinal County sports world.